Thanks to my contact at Suzuki, I just received what may be one of the first, if not the first, replacement clutch baskets for the new 2014 DL1000. It's advertised as having a new clutch assembly. It does have a completely different hub assembly and stuff in it. Now we're going to see for sure what is different in the basket. The casting appears to be the same as the later generation of DL1000 replacement baskets I've been getting. Has the same casting numbers in it, same appearance. We'll assume it's the same little bit tightened up spring pocket windows and so forth. It does have an all new part number, 31Y10. That is completely different from the other baskets, so we know they've made a change, whatever it is, because they did assign it a completely different part number. And now looking at this right here, it looks very similar. This is a February 2014 build. So, that's the latest of the late to get. From this appearance, it appears to be very similar, if not the same. But when we turn it over, we see what possibly is the only change, but we'll look into that further. It has the SV style top plate on it. This is quite a bit heavier duty than the standard DLs are. I've always preferred this plate. This one is a little bit lighter color than they typically are. There may be a difference in the heat treatment there. The SV plates are much harder to drill out and process, and we're going to see what this one's like, but that is a little different color, which could indicate a different heat treating. It appears to be the same pattern, but we'll find out more there. The springs, again, you've got the white, 2 orange ones for the second stage, and the 3 red ones. These appear to be identical to the original DL1000. We'll measure those when we get them out and look them over and see. So let's get this one taken apart and see what we've got. One thing I like to check with these baskets is how much free play is in them. This is obviously a brand new basket, and you would expect it to be pretty tight. But if you'll look at this spring movement right here, we can see that there's quite a bit of slop in that. This may be a little bit tighter than the previous generations were before the new castings come out, but that's still quite a bit of movement in there before the slack is taken up internally. This white spring is slightly under tension anyway, and it still has a little bit of movement too. So the inner plates are definitely moving in these, so that means there is room for improvement. It appears internally to be the same as the previous generation models. Same spring looking. The springs appear to be the same. Same coloring, same basic appearance. A little more paint on these than sometimes you see, but that's the exact same color was used before. The gauge looks similar. I'll have to measure all that and see, but first glance is that that's the same. Gear all looks the same. Inner plate looks the same, and like some of the other ones we've been seeing lately, this is a much tighter clearance in here than was before, but there's still some slack in it. Same number on that. Appearance is the same. Same bearing. You can see where it's pulled out of the mold. Finish on the gear is the same. You can still see the, maybe not in the camera, but there's still some roughness in that shouldn't be there. So this appears to be the same gear and basket that we've been seeing lately for the DL replacements. This appears to be the only real difference, the outer plate right now, but I'll check into that further. Well, after having the 2014 DL1000 basket clear apart, inspecting everything in it, the only thing that I can see different is the top plate. I measured all the springs. They're exactly the same as the current generation DL1000 springs in measurements and appearance, even in color. So that I'm going to assume is the same. The casting is the same as I've been getting for a while. Went ahead and upgraded this basket so it's ready to go. It's got the high precision bearing in it. This one was actually off quite a bit. Both the gear and the hub were out around quite a bit. Do the trimming on the basket and stuff. the top bearing has been installed in this one, and let me say that this plate, being the only difference, is still an upgrade. This is a stronger piece. I've often said this was the best of the two parts, the SV and DL. If you could build a DL with this, it would be an improvement. It is stronger, weighs a little bit more, but it is stronger. Actually, I like my bearing in that better than the other one. It's a little stiffer piece of metal. So there we have it. The 2014 DL1000 clutch basket is different, but it's basically the same design with a couple improvements on it. Whether they will wear and chutter like the older versions, only time's going to tell.